Well, you guys already know who we're going to talk about today. Pigpen made his case yesterday for being our best slugger. Every time you turned around, Pigpen was socking another long home run. And even when he didn't get all of the pitch, he was still knocking it all over the park. When we finally start crushing the American dreams, we're going to rely a lot on his offensive power. Pigpen's performance yesterday was absolutely Ruthian. Seriously, Pigpen has been absolutely terrorizing the opposing pitchers. It's not a bad day's work for a character that many people forget about. And you know, the interesting thing about Pigpen, as I was reading, is that Schultz actually didn't even draw him in his comics for like, I don't know, it was like 8 years or something like that, because he was tired of it. It was just, you know, a one-trick pony, a one-line joke and stuff like that. Anyway, let's go ahead and sneak right back on into this, and let's go play some baseball stars today, shall we? So the big change that we've had this time around is we got Snoopy up. I've got to go over here and look at my file that has all of my notes for this project in it. The question is whether Snoopy's ready to take over for Sally at short, and I think that he probably is. Sally only has a 6-6-6 there, mark of the devil. Snoopy has 10-10-8. By the way, we probably should have been considering having Franklin there with his 10-10-7 and the 8 defense. Snoopy's defense is 15, Sally's defense only 12. So that kind of makes up my mind. What we're going to do is we're going to play at least one game today. I don't know, maybe we'll play more than one. What do you guys think? So there was somebody who was telling me that they actually prefer it when we play it sort of like the way we did yesterday, where we only have a single game. Or I'm sorry, 2 games, and it's like a half hour long. We'll see if we do that or not today. It sort of depends upon how these games go. But I'm starting to wonder if it isn't better to do like a home and away for a lot of these videos or something. You tell me what you think about all this. Especially if we start crushing teams, you know, we may be better off doing something like that. People are telling me to hold up. So funny thing about this is I know what the manual says, but in a lot of these games when I hold up, I end up hitting a ground ball. So we'll see if that ends up being the case. My understanding is that, well, that time it wasn't a ground ball, so maybe I'm wrong. My understanding is that in the original RBI baseball, the manual tells you that you're supposed to hold up to uppercut the ball, but if you try it, it's actually down that you're supposed to hold. They got it backwards. So we'll try things a couple of different ways here and sort of see what we come up with. And there's Pigpen with a base hit, and he continues to produce the way that we need him to. So, not too bad, not a bad day's work. I'm still trying to get everything situated just right. Another thing ooh, that baby's gone. We probably should feature Shermie in one of these videos too, huh? Look at that, 2-0 just like that. And the other thing I wanted to talk about, and this is probably maybe the right place for it, maybe not. I had a comment, I think it was on this video yesterday, asking me about when I was going to go back to playing replay baseball and going back to that 55 World Series project, which I kind of left halfway through. So, boy, that was embarrassing. So there are a couple of reasons why I haven't done more with that. The big one, of course, is time. I kind of have to have the time to be able to sit down and play it. I know that people laugh about this a lot about YouTubers, you know, what do you mean you have no time and stuff? What you don't see is that, you know, it takes a couple of hours to put together like a really good video, you know, especially if we're talking about scripted videos. So I don't use AI at all. I don't know, maybe I should, but I don't think I should, and I won't. And so, like, for example, that 1983 baseball card video, that took me about, I don't know how long it took me to write that, probably about 2 hours. The filming process of that, since I didn't use a whole bunch of clips, wasn't really that bad. it was mostly like writing and doing research. That's what took up most of my time. And so, you know, like it takes a considerable amount of time, especially if you want to do something that's going to be scripted and is actually going to be good and isn't just going to be a bunch of junk, right? It takes a bit of time, right? It's not as easy as just like, oh, we're going to go like read this Wikipedia page and that's going to answer all of our questions. I mean, you know as well as I do that there are people who do stuff like that. That was Snoopy at Short. Good thing we have him there, isn't it? You guys know as well as I do that there are YouTubers who do that, who will literally just make a video that's nothing but like whatever, like a Wikipedia read or something like that. But I'm not going to do that for you, right? We want to actually do some research. We want to look at the original documents. We want to like, you know, see what's going on. When it comes to baseball card stuff, for example, we want to look at original newspapers and see what they were saying back in the time, you know, and sort of see how these sets were received and, you know, what are people talking about and all that stuff. That's, I think, you know, one of the things that really is helpful on this channel and makes it really stand out. The problem is that all of that takes time. All right, it takes time to go like find this source. It takes time to look at it. It takes time to read it. It takes time to sit down and ponder. It takes time to think about how you're going to say this, and so on and so forth. So that's the thing that kind of hurts in terms of doing more projects like the Replay Baseball project. But the other thing that hurts a little bit about it is what my approach with that project was. So I'll put it to you this way, right? This channel has kind of an interesting mix of different types of viewers, right? There's some people who are, man, Snoopy. Woo! Beautiful play. I love that 15 defense. So there are some people who are watching this channel who are real fans of retro gaming, right? And you know who you are, right? A lot of retro gaming fans come to this channel, and I know this because every time I do a video like this, we have, you know, I don't know, this will probably get like 600 something views or something, you know, within the first day, or I don't know, something like that, right? It's pretty common. There are also people who know this channel because of the previous work that I did talking about games like APA and Stratomatic and Replay and stuff like that, right? And I do really appreciate them, and I'm still very, very interested in these games, even though I also like playing the video games, right? There are also people on this channel who like the baseball history work, and there are people who like the baseball card stuff. Now, the difficult thing about creating content on this channel is figuring out a way to make as many people happy as I possibly can. So, for example, I've learned through trial and error that while making a whole bunch of videos talking about baseball history is kind of a cool thing, and like there are not very many people doing stuff like that, man, that was an embarrassing double play to hit, and man, we are not doing well. Only 2-0. I was hoping for a little bit more runs than that. Anyway, while, you know, I enjoy doing baseball history-focused videos, and I think I can do a good job with them, given my knowledge of the history of the sport and so on, like, the truth is that videos that are focused on baseball history do not do as well as you might think. In other words, there's not like a whole ton of people who suddenly are going to watch your content. You're not going to get a whole lot of new viewers because you're talking about like Jack Dunn and the Baltimore Orioles of like the early 20s or something, right? One of those topics I really want to talk about. And so what I've had to think about is there like a creative way to get to these topics, right? Is there a creative way that we can combine like the history stuff with something else, right? To make it a little bit better. There are ways to do that, including a lot of things that I haven't really done a lot of work with yet. So for example, you know, the 1919 replay that I've been doing that is kind of like hasn't been doing much for a little while recently. This 1919 replay, part of the idea behind this is that we're going to look into the newspapers from whatever game it is that we're replaying. We'll do a little presentation at the beginning, you know, talk about what life was like back then, talk about exactly what's happening, what are the big storylines that we're looking for, and so on and so forth, right? That's sort of what the approach is, and that's kind of the way that you can expect to see more history stuff on this channel in the future. That's at least kind of what the plan is. The reason why is because it's a little bit easier to do something that's kind of like a brief look into history like that rather than doing like a real super deep dive, right? It takes less time for me to look and say, oh, this interesting thing happened on this day, and so, you know, that's what we'll talk about. Bad swing there by Violet, my apologies. I'm getting too excited talking about the channel. And so that's the one thing that sort of helps with that, right? You can get a video put together on a relatively regular basis that maybe is going to last, I don't know, like 45 minutes or something like that. And you can do it, you know, without necessarily spending like 4 hours on it, right? That's what the whole equation's all about. All right, good job. Who do we have at first base again? I forget. That's all right. Shermie, I think. There we go. So anyway, that's part of sort of like the thinking behind that, right? It's just, it takes a little while to get to that point, and I also need to get my own skills up. Oh, so close. I also need to get sort of my own skills up so that, you know, when I do more of those like diamond mine type videos and stuff, you know, people might be a little bit more interested in watching a little bit more of them and so on. Most people will watch for like 5 minutes and they give up. So if you're in the 5-minute crew, don't worry, I hear you. I know all about you. I know what's going on. Peppermint Patty is not having a very good time here on the mound. We still need to improve this pitching. That's our biggest weakness. So I still think we can win this game. If we don't win this game, we'll just play against this team again. How does that sound? Those of you wondering why I didn't have Charlie Brown pitch through the 5th inning in the last game, it's because when he starts throwing like she is now, it's really, really ugly. Dude, how am I supposed to know like where to go? I don't even know which fielder it is I'm controlling, right? Anyway, so it is. But anyway, now the other reason why, so the first reason why I was bringing all that up and gave you that big spiel is because after a while when I was looking at that replay project, I realized I was doing it wrong, right? I wasn't doing any sort of like jumping into the history, talking about what the paper said here and all this stuff. And once you're already like 4 games into it, you can't really go back and like redo that, right? It's not that easy. It doesn't have a very good flow. But the problem with that when it comes to, man, I'm not hitting very well, am I? This is not what we want to be doing. The problem with that when it comes... Oh, that is a ball. Okay, thank you. The problem with that when it comes to creating content is that you end up with a season that doesn't really matter. Like I can talk about, oh, you know, Duke Snider's hitting like 200 so far in the series. Maybe it's not a great series for him, right? But it's... I mean, there's no real context to this, right? If you really want to do this like the right way, you need to start from the beginning and talk about this and have like a storyline that comes up instead of just sort of like jumping into the middle of it and saying, okay, well, this is what he's hitting right now and there's not really much of a story to tell and all this other stuff, right? Basically, it's not a very engaging way to approach these videos. The other problem that I have with that approach is that there are a lot of people playing games like Replay, Stratomatic, and whatever, you know, who put stuff on YouTube. If I'm doing it this way, I'm no different from anybody else, right? There are a number of other creators out there that are doing the same thing. If I don't have like a storyline, there's really no reason for anybody to watch my content as opposed to anybody else's. So does that really matter? Yeah, it does, because if you're hoping to get a lot of views and to really get something, you know, to come forth, you have to have some way to actually engage with your audience. I was hoping that'd be called a ball. I guess my hopes were up too high. Alright, we should probably be concentrating on this game. And see, this is what happens when you don't, right? Alright, well, we'll put Spike out there. Spike's ERA looks a little bit inflated. He can't be that bad, right? So as you guys know, the problem I had with Peppermint Patty is that I used too many of her pitching points to up her reputation. Eventually, this might be a good thing because it means that she'll have some points left to become a good hitter, which is accurate to the script, or to the comic. But if you're looking at like the right way to do baseball stars, it's not the right way to do it. So anyway, there you have it. Yeah, that's sort of my long spiel about this. The other thing I've got to say about Replay Baseball is that Replay does not really lend itself well to YouTube videos, and that it's very much a sort of hands-on roll the dice for this, roll the dice for that type of game. I know you can turn some of that stuff off or make it like automatic or whatever. The problem that I've had with those videos is I find myself spending a lot more time talking about the mechanics of the game than talking about like what's actually going on, which makes for, unfortunately, a really poor viewing experience. I ran into a similar thing on my basketball channel when I was playing the card and dice version of Hoops Basketball, which is a really well-designed game. The problem with it, of course, is that I end up focusing so much on the mechanics of the game, and there's a lot of little things with the game that are kind of quirky, that it's really hard to focus on like the actual storyline at hand. Like, the truth is that as much fun as it is to watch people play tabletop games online, there's not really a huge audience for this sort of thing. There's a much bigger audience out there for video games, believe it or not. And at some point in time, you have to be like, well, we got to sort of do what the market's telling us, right? So as bad as it is to talk about things as a market, I do think, though, that, you know, games like Diamond Mine can provide sort of a happy medium. Boy, almost threw him out at first base. That would have been an incredible play if we'd done it. Spike, by the way, I think is a great name for a good baseball player. I tried to jump there. You can't see what I'm trying to do unless you're looking at the controller. I did try to jump, and it didn't let me jump. So anyway, we're in trouble. Oh, barely. Man, I'm gonna have a heart attack here playing this game. All right, let's go score some runs and get the win. Wouldn't it be nice if Snoopy hit one out of the park here after that great play in the field? That's what they always say, you know. Always seems to happen. You make a great play in the field, and then you're the next guy up. Well, he needs a little bit more batting power there. Didn't quite get enough of that one. Schroeder, and then we'll take Spike out. I think Spike's he's done his job. He was able to hold them to no runs, which is pretty good. Schroeder, it's classic. He's the catcher, right? We don't need him to have a whole bunch of speed, but should put Slobotnik in, right? I know all you guys are cheering for Joe Slobotnik to come into the game. Anyway, it's all good. There's the third out, and we'll get our relief pitcher up and going. I'm a little bit busy today. I'm always a little bit busy. Today there's actually two full scripted videos I need to make. I need to do one for the basketball channel. We're going to be looking at the worst basketball games on the NES again. I feel like that's all I ever look at on that channel. And then over on the hockey channel, we're going to have a video talking about NHLPA 93. That'll come out tomorrow. So basketball one should come out sometime today. That's going to be kind of my morning project here after baseball starts for breakfast. And we'll see how it goes from there. I don't know if it'll happen today, but hopefully eventually we'll get to the point where we can play like 2 different games here, and then we'll eventually get to the point where the 1919 project will come back. So good things are going to happen on this channel in the near future, as soon as I get enough time and make things happen. That was interesting. I wonder if they're going to call that an error, even though there was no one on base. And even Frida's popping it up. But I bring up playing games on this channel because I'll tell you some more of sort of like the secret plan and all that stuff, you know, because this is all classified information, right? Booyah! 3-2. Who was it on ESPN who used to say he goes papaya, right? Or something like that? You remember this from the 90s? Anyway, maybe I'm the only one who remembers ESPN from the 90s, back when it was good, you know? Anyway, sayonara baseball is what it's all about. Alright, that wasn't very good, Shermy. You gotta have a better batter's eye than that. We need Ted Williams on this team. Man. Oh my god. That's what I'm gonna say every time I'm upset now. Oh my god. Anyway, yeah, so the not-so-secret plan here is to sort of fill the channel with a lot of Nintendo gameplay and videos about a lot of these games and stuff like that. The reason why I've kind of taken this approach is because when I started up the hockey channel about a month and a half ago, I was pleasantly surprised to notice that when I was playing, like, you know, whatever, NHL hockey, NHLPA 93 and stuff like that, and I filmed myself doing it, I was actually getting pretty good response from the audience and got a huge number of subscribers very, very quickly. So what that's done is it's led me to believe that actually doing sort of Let's Play videos combined with longer form videos is really the way to go. It's kind of like the shortcut to growing a lot. Interesting thing is that there are a lot of people out there who will do Let's Play videos where they'll play through like the whole, you know, Famicom archive and stuff like that, you know. But when it comes to sports games, a lot of these guys don't know anything about sports games, right? And so they won't, man, even Linus is having a hard time hitting the ball, man. This is bad luck today. Does this team have good luck or something? I don't know. Anyway, so a lot of those people, you know, I've seen these videos before where they'll talk about a certain game that I'm kind of interested in, and they'll say, you see the right fielder going to the crowd? These people will say stuff like, oh, you know, this video is just a Famistad clone, right? It's not that important and all that other stuff. There was one guy, a German guy, who's got a video of him playing Best Play Pro Yaku, which is the simulation style. Somebody's got to go over the replay of that one. Was that really a fair ball? Let me know in the comments. Was that really a fair ball? I must be seeing things. Maybe I need glasses. Jeez, Snoopy, come on. What are you doing going up there golfing, man? Anyway, so this guy played Best Play Pro Yaku, and he was complaining the whole time. It was all in German. He's talking about, oh man, it's a baseball game, and oh man, it's a simulation. It's the worst of the two, right? I can't do anything but just, you know, have the game go and stuff. And anyway, when you're a fan of the sport, you look at videos like that, and you're like, maybe there's some room out there for like a video that I would like to see about this game that actually like treats it seriously, you know, instead of treating it like it's some piece of garbage or something. Sadaharu O is up now, and we got to keep this in on the hands. I think he's one of the guys who had the home run against us. So I know you guys are saying we shouldn't keep it on the hands here, but that's what we're going to do, and he gets around on it anyway. Now, this is going to be a long one, isn't it? I think that's his second home run of this game. You guys are going to have to tell me who Kaganu is. I am not familiar enough with Japanese baseball history to know who all these guys are, unfortunately. That was a great play by Pigpen, man. This is really the Pigpen show. Anyway, so that's part of the impetus behind this channel, right? A lot of people who do retro video game videos and stuff don't really care much for sports. They don't want to talk much about sports games. They treat them like they're nothing. We really, really need to improve the defense there at first base. That's Shermy, by the way. He only has a 3, and that's what happened. So anyway, that's one of the reasons why I think that doing sort of like video game type Let's Plays and, you know, focusing in on these sports games really works. There was somebody over on the American football channel, right, that I have, who left a comment the other day saying that he thinks that I'm the only person, like, on the platform who's doing videos like that, so... Now I gotta be careful because I've told everybody all the secrets, right? So we're gonna get a lot of competitors or something like that. Anyway, but that's really what it is, right? There's not a lot of people who are seriously doing this. Not a lot of people who are going to like play Madden 94 and do something more than just like a quick remember this game video. You can watch guys like SNES Drunk, right? They'll do stuff like this sometimes. But SNES Drunk is not gonna do a Let's Play series for Madden 94. I'm the only one crazy enough to do that, so... Which is pretty cool, because then you have, like, the whole market, right? It's kind of a funny thing, YouTube, right? Because you can find more people who are playing Stratomatic baseball using card and dice, like the full Super Advanced game. You can find more people doing that on YouTube than playing freaking Baseball Stars, man. And that gives us some insurance. 5-3 now. Oh, wait, what was that? Oh, yeah, that's right. That was Pigpen, right? Didn't I tell you Pigpen is, like, terrorizing this league right now? And we're only gonna make him better. Come on, that almost hit me, man. That should have been a ball. Alright, so there's, that's the third out. I was gonna say the second out. No, that's the third out, but we gotta deal with this now. Nomura is a name that's familiar to me. I can't remember the guy's name. I have to go over to, isn't his name Jim Albright, the guy who did the APA page focused on Japanese baseball? I think that's the name of the guy. You guys who are in the APA community watching this, you can go correct me and yell at me and do all that other stuff. It's all good. Alright, we got one more to go. Toyota. Anyway, so long term of this channel, you're going to see a lot of videos like this, a lot of series like this, and a lot of this stuff, because I do think that there is a market for it, and I think it's a lot of fun to play. For right now, though, I think we're going to leave this video at this one game because it was an extra inning game. And I want to go improve the squad. As always, please consider supporting me by becoming a YouTube member or go over to Patreon and support me, something like that. I do want to take a look here as well. So yeah, there were 2 home runs by Asada Haru O. Pigpen hit 2 as well, and we had Shermie hit 1. And who else hit home runs here? Kaganu hit 1 for them as well. So there's a lot of home runs in this game. 45,000 attendance gives us $90,000 to work with. So we know what we need to do, though. There's a couple of weaknesses that we still have on this team. So Shermie, if he's going to play first base, we've got to get him a little bit better at fielding because that's our biggest weakness. Look at that defensive 5 with 95,000. So we'll bump this up to 8. And we have 55,000 left. And so let's see what we're going to do with that. So the question is, do we improve Schroeder or do we go like improve Spike? That's really what I'm debating with myself right now. I think we need to improve Spike more than Schroeder. And look at that. We go 1 point. All we get from this is 1 freaking point. So that was money not so well spent. And now we have, what, 25,000 left. There's really nobody that we can improve, I think. We could improve Rerun. And we get 5 points. How about that? It's a little bit better. That makes me feel a little bit happier. We don't need much stamina on him, to be honest with you. So we're going to do this. It's kind of a wishy-washy player, which is a great Charlie Brown word, by the way. But that's kind of what we're going to do so far. I think that we're going to keep improving just gradually the speed and the lefty-righty curves and the drops and stuff for kind of all these guys. So like Marcy 7666, right? Rerun is 6665. Spike is 8555. I think that we really need to focus on Spike next. And then Patty, Peppermint Patty has the stamina of 12, which is helpful. But the problem that she has is the 664 there at the end. Charlie Brown, of course, he has that speed that helps him a bit. But you know, all of these guys really have a lot of room to for improvement. So that's what we're going to focus on in the next video. But before I do that, we do have to play a little bit more with this. Yeah, so I don't know. We'll have you guys play. I'm just going to do this sort of a random whatever. We're going to do one more as well. World Powers are going to play against Ninja Black Sox, I guess, something like that. Anyway, whatever. We're not going to do this very scientifically. We're just going to sort of make it whatever it is. Take a look at the standings. I know that we haven't gone through a whole bunch of games, but we're now at 6-2. American Dreams are 8-0, and if any team's going to beat them, it's going to be us. Pigpen now with a 606 average. It's going to end up going up. He's so good. 7 home runs. 20 though batted in for Willie. Pigpen only 18. We need more guys on base, and Sandy Koufax is still just amazing. So it's going to take us a while. So what we're going to play tomorrow is we're going to play against this team again. We're going to go up here and play this one. We'll probably start doing like home and away series against every team. Remember, we have 25 games total. And eventually we're going to get to the point where we're doing like 2 games a day again. But this one we'll just keep this way. One more thing, since we were talking about Pigpen a lot. The reason why he's hitting home runs like crazy is because he's got a batting of 15, right? The 60,000 level means that he's already kind of a star. What we really need to do is we need to get that defense up, and we need to try to get the hitting up a little bit more. Because if he can have a 15-15, it's going to be crazy. But remember, he's only got about 13 points left, right? Defense, you have 3, so that leaves 10. Hitting 5 more, right? If we do that, that would leave 5 points. Probably put the 5 points over in luck or something like that, right? So anyway, that's kind of where it goes, by which time he's going to be so expensive that even if we beat the American Dreams, we're not going to have enough money to fund him. So that's what the plan is for Pigpen. There you have it. Hope you guys enjoy this. Hope you don't mind me talking too much about channel business. But yeah, it's a pretty good thing to know, especially if you're interested in the YouTube world and stuff. And it's different than the other stuff that's on this channel. You know, I'm always going to keep it interesting. Hope you're having a good day, and I'll talk to you again tomorrow. Bye-bye.